Howdy.
Hey, Amber, how you doing,
I'm
dear?
doing good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Outstanding, in fact.
Yay.
We've already had our first question before you even got settled in your
Yay.
so we want to thank everybody for coming in to the KetovoreKast here on Instagram Live. And somebody right off the bat asked a question. And as we do when somebody asks a question, we try to answer it as soon as possible. And they want to know, do you eat cheese? Take off, Amber.
No, I do not. I started out carnivore eating cheese and dairy as well as eggs, and now I have decided to eliminate it all. And it's probably been about probably 2 months since I've had cheese or any dairy and eggs also. I'm just kind of seeing if maybe those are a problem for me, and I just never realized it. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. And the only way I'm going to know is if I completely eliminate it, and then maybe if I feel like it, I'll add it back in later. I have no plans in the near future to add it back in, but I may try and see. But at the moment, no, I do not.
Very good, very good. I was never much of a cheese eater. I would melt some cheese on a hamburger patty back in the standard American diet garbage days, but if it wasn't melted there or melted on some pizza, I wasn't interested in it. And I haven't had any cheese at all since I've gone meat and water, 360 days today, straight. And so great question to start things off with. We appreciate that. And if you have any questions, that's why we do these here. We want you all to ask questions if you
Yes.
have them. And somebody else is already asking. If one were to legally use cannabis and make a medicinal edible out of it, would it be okay to use coconut oil instead of butter? Apparently, butter still has casein proteins that can cause leaky gut. All right. I'll answer this question because I'm a medical cannabis patient. Amber is not. She lives in Texas. So even if she knew, we don't want her to answer this. I would not use coconut oil under any circumstance for these two reasons. Number one, it's not necessary. Coconut oil is not as absorbable as regular old butter is. With butter, you will get every milligram possible. Your body will absorb every milligram in that butter. With coconut oil, you could lose 15 to 20% of your medicine because coconut oil is not the transport everybody thinks it is. So you would end up with some THC, some CBD, and all those other cannabinoids that you want to have when you ingest it. It would not be bioavailable. You wouldn't be able to absorb it, and it would just be wasted. So that's my answer to that question. Great questions to start the day off
Yes.
with. We really appreciate it. Amber, let's take a few minutes and explain to everybody why we do what we do. Promoting carnivory, taking time out of our lives, putting a lot of hard work and sweat into making sure other people know about eating meat and drinking water.
Yes, it's pretty simple. I don't want anybody, even my worst enemy, if I had one, to ever have to go through what I did to get to where I am today. If I can make a transition for somebody easier, that would just make my day. That it would make everything all worth it. I struggled for a very long time, a good 40 years of my life, to get to where I am today. And if somebody else doesn't have to do that, I would be happy to be a person that can, let them just jump straight over all of that mess. And so I'm not looking for fame. I'm not, to inflate my ego. I'm not looking for money. I want to help because I know what it feels like to be on the other side, unhealthy, obese. It's not fun. And I don't want anybody to have to do that. It's not necessary.
That's very well said, dear. And you're absolutely right. And I'm right there with you. This is a joy. I mean, I started telling my story in December of last year. I stepped out on and thought, I need to share my experience because I didn't want to go to my grave thinking I missed an opportunity to maybe help somebody. And the response to it was just insane. I mean, you start getting notes and letters from people thanking you for finally explaining in a way they could understand what their depression symptoms were like, because they didn't have any point of reference. They didn't have anybody else to talk to understand what was going on with them. How could I ever turn away from that?
Right.
So, it's just the good that we put out into the world always comes back to us when we're doing it to help other people.
That's exactly right.
I have been blessed so much since we started doing this. We sell some t-shirts, and I'd like for everybody to buy one. But if nobody ever buys another t-shirt, I'm going to keep on doing this, because eating meat and drinking water heals human bodies. We don't know why. We don't fully comprehend it. It's all new to us. We don't know all the answers. But I'm living proof that meat heals. And the longer my friend Amber sticks with it, the more she's becoming another example.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we do this. And I'm grateful that we have the opportunity. We have another question.
Yay.
Somebody is grain-fed meat better than not being carnivore? I don't really understand that question. Is grain-fed meat better than not being carnivore? You mean, should we eat grain-fed beef or grass-fed beef? I was taught to eat the meat I crave and can afford. So I can't afford grass-fed beef. It costs too much. And I am thriving on what's on sale. That's my answer to that. What about you, Amber?
I will eat on occasion grass-fed meat, just if it happens to be available and I feel like it. But most of the time, no, I don't. I mean, I eat good meat. I mean, it's good quality meat, but it's not necessarily grass-fed. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not overly worried about that. I don't think there's anything conclusive saying that it is, so much better that it makes it worth, maybe not being able to do something else because you're putting all your money into that meat. The affording part is, I just don't know if it balances making it worth that. I mean, if you can afford it, sure, go for it. It's not going to, be negative for sure. You might get some positive from it. And there are some people, I think, that just like with generic drugs, some people have no problem with it, but there are those that have an issue maybe with the dye that's put in it or something weird like that, and they have to have the regular medication. And that may be a case for grass-fed beef. I don't know. I mean, that could be a possibility. Some people may just do better with it, but I think in general, I wouldn't worry about it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's not an issue for me. If you can afford it, enjoy it. If you like it, if you prefer it and can afford it, enjoy it. I can't afford it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm thriving on the meat that I buy. Okay, we got another couple of questions from Clovebird 0499. Do you follow ketogenic macros such as 80% fat and 20% protein while eating only meat and drinking water, or do you keep the fat way lower? I only measure the weight of the meat I cook. That is all. I don't measure fat macros. I don't measure anything else. I don't count calories because this is what I was taught. Eat your meat, drink your water, trust your body. Now, from a common sense perspective, we know protein equals structure and healing. But before the structure and healing can take place, it has to have energy. And that energy comes from fat. So if I'm feeling sluggish or not having the energy that I know I should have, I know to eat a couple of more pieces of bacon every meal. Yeah. That's how I manage that. That's as sophisticated as it gets. And I'll be honest, today's my 360th day eating meat and drinking water. I've not had a day when I haven't had perfect energy. Amber, you want to take that question?
Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, I don't measure either. I come from a keto background. I did keto for 2 years and I loved it and I still love it. I think it's an excellent thing to do, for most people, I suppose. But when I moved over to carnivore, there's really no need. I just don't really see the need. And like Brett said, there was a time where my energy was kind of low and I wasn't used to that because on keto, my energy was crazy. And so that kind of bothered me a little bit. But I just kind of upped my fat a little bit. I added a little bit of butter to my ground beef, on top of it after I cooked it. And I kind of didn't drain the grease off my meat, that kind of thing. Just got a little bit more fat. And that seemed to kind of do the trick. Plus, the longer I've been doing it, which I've been doing it for 4 months now, so it's getting better. So I think my body probably needed to adapt a little bit, but also I think the fat did help. Again, I don't measure. I've been asked this question quite a lot, and I think I may actually do the math just out of curiosity, not because I need to or anything. I kind of go by what my body seems to want, and I eat when I'm hungry, and I stop when I'm full, and I don't eat again until I'm hungry. I mean, that's pretty much the way it's been. And I only eat twice a day, so I'm not worried about calories or anything like that. So, no, I don't.
Very good. Very good. Clobird, ask another question that's a really good one. Do you still eat butter or cook with it in general besides eating only meat and water? And then they ask, does eating a lot of butter make anxiety and depression symptoms return to you? Well, I'll answer them in reverse order. I don't eat a lot of butter. I wouldn't, define what a lot of butter is. What's a lot of butter to you might not be a lot of butter to me. I don't know. I can't answer that. I can tell you this, that my depression symptoms went away after the 24th day of me eating meat and drinking water. They have never come back. Not even close. Not even a little bit. It took 5 months for my anxiety to go away. The only time I get anxious now is if I find out a loved one's in the hospital. Who doesn't? So, no, butter does not bring any symptoms back to me in any way, shape, or form. Somebody says they find they're gaining muscle mass on carnivore. Absolutely. That's pretty common, too. We got another question. Oh, wait a minute. Did you want to take that last one? I forgot.
Yeah, I will just say I do occasionally have butter, not very often. Maybe, like I said, when my energy feels low, I may take, like, I'm talking maybe 1 tablespoon a day of butter when my energy is low. And that, maybe once a week, maybe not at all, sometimes twice a week, but I wouldn't say any more than twice a week I have like a tablespoon of butter. That's it. And I don't cook with it. I cook with bacon fat.
Very good. Somebody's wanting to know, do you guys drink coffee? Go, Amber, go.
I used to, when I was keto, I would have coffee in the morning. I didn't do the fat coffee. It wasn't that. I just had a little bit of cream in it. But I enjoyed it. I like the flavored ones and etc. But somewhere, I guess, I don't know, February, March, somewhere in there, about the time I started carnivore, I just stopped drinking it because I felt like I kept adding more and more cream to it because I really like that yummy, creamy feeling. And I just felt that was not a good thing for me. So I just cut out the coffee and I pretty much cut out caffeine completely. I was drinking some bangs, but I rarely have a bang now. So, no, I don't drink coffee anymore and I don't plan on it. So.
I was never a coffee drinker. I used to be a prodigious tea drinker, but I gave up all forms of caffeine in 2017 because I realized people who suffer from anxiety issues probably shouldn't be consuming any caffeine. So that's your answer to that question. Somebody wants to know thoughts on stevia. I am 1,000% against putting sweet taste into your mouth. All that does is cause your body to react pretty much as if you consume sugar. Your insulin will still spike. You don't need that in your life on any level, in my opinion. And sweet taste cause sugar cravings to last. You keep the sugar cravings going long enough, they're going to defeat you. you're going to cave. You're going to put crap back into your mouth. I haven't had any sweet taste in my mouth for over 350 some days. And the reason why it's not 360 is because I found some mints one that I thought would be okay because they're sugar-free. But I found out after only eating one of them, that really didn't work well for me a bit. I have even an artificial sweetener. My behavior deteriorates quickly in a very bad way. Amber, do you have any thoughts, darling?
Well, I don't have the same feeling about stevia or even sugar alcohols, honestly. My experience is a little bit different, and I have one of the ketone glucose monitors, and I check with stevia, I check with erythritol, and I don't have a reaction with that. Now, that being said, I don't know what my insulin does. Just because my glucose might have been low, my insulin could be spiked, so I can't guarantee that that's not the case. But because my glucose wasn't high, I didn't worry about it. That being said, I do not have it anymore. I don't have tea, so I don't need to put it in there. I don't have sweets. I eat meat. There's nothing to put, stevia on. I think if you're keto and you can handle it, which I didn't have an issue handling it, didn't make me go down a rabbit hole. It didn't affect me. But I think probably more people are like Brett, who it does affect them, and just a little bit of sweet just makes them just go down that hole. It didn't do that to me. I don't know why, because I was a sugar addict, so I don't understand why it didn't affect me like that. But I have no problems with, not having sweets. I'm cool with it. But when you're on carnivore, it's a different animal. I think it's probably a really good thing you don't. And what are you going to put it on anyway? Unless I guess your coffee, maybe. I mean, what are you going to do? Sprinkle it on your meat? I don't know. And coffee technically comes from a plant. I'm just saying.
I want to say good evening to our dear friend Elizabeth. She's
Yeah, I saw Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth.
She's a good gal. Appreciate it. I had the privilege, Danielle and I have feasted with her before. She's a really nice lady. One of the things that we both have noticed is with our absent brain fog that we fought with unknowingly for all those years of our lives, now the brain fog's gone. Have you noticed a difference in how you handle the bumps in the road that life can throw at you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to be pretty high strung, just kind of, and it was really kind of funny because, and I was just at my hairdresser's today. She's also one of my good friends. But back when, the whole politics was just mad crazy, I was one of those that would just get so angry listening to the news. I'm like, oh my God, and I would just go off. And after I started keto and kind of, went along a while, my hairdresser said, you know what? What is more amazing to me than even your outer appearance is you are chill. And I'm like, what? Really? And she was like, yeah, you're just so calm. Now we can talk politics. And you're just kind of like, whatever. Hey, it's, good. It's like, oh, I guess I kind of am. And then, situations just don't, quite frankly, piss me off anymore. I used to get pretty irate over, stupid stuff, and now I don't care. Even like, driving, and there would be somebody that cut you off, and you're like, bah! Like that. Now I'm just like, oh, idiot, and just go on with my business and not let it worry me. Before it would just make my whole day bad. Everything was just bad from there. So yes, I have noticed a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced similar, and you got to hear this first yesterday. I had the craziest 12 hours that you could ever imagine just very recently. Good evening, Caitlin. Thanks for coming by.
And hey, Aunt
Girl. Appreciate you. And speaking of Grassfed Girl, she recently interviewed you like yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes,
so
yes. It was a lot of fun.
It's going to be a podcast people need to check out. Caitlin Weeks on her YouTube channel. Don't know when that's going to go up, but maybe Caitlin will give us an idea, but it'll be there eventually.
I was kind of chatty. Yikes. Yeah.
Listen, I have 48 hours ago, I had like one of the worst 12 hours you could ever imagine having. We had a huge plumbing clog that through the diagnosis, and you got to realize we didn't just call a plumber. We can't really afford to call a plumber. You figure that stuff out yourself one way or another. And my wife's actually very good at it. Thank God. And guitar players, what do we know about plumbing? Anyway, she, through the course of her diagnosing things, a huge mess was made. And then we had to like go buy an auger and all this kind of stuff. She gets the leak or the clog free. Everything's great again. Then that night I have for the first time in over 3 weeks, for temperature reasons, because it's Northeast Florida. It's really flipping hot here. And I woke up in the middle of the night, had to go to the bathroom, and it was so hot I couldn't go back to sleep. So I was up like at 3 a.m. Well, I go to the gym and I work out, having a great morning, thinking everything's fine. I come home, my wife says, oh, and by the way, the dryer quit working. And then not 45 minutes later at 8:01 a.m., I get an email from the Florida Medical Cannabis Patients Registry telling me that there was a problem with my renewal.
And see, that's the problem.
And this all happened. Now, you got to understand, when I was sick and crazy, any one of those things would have been devastating. I'd have been eating Ativan. I'd have been ranting and raving, not making sense, screaming and hollering like a crazy man. Amber's a witness. Was my mood any different than you ever see it?
No.
I'm telling Amber all this. She's like, I can't believe this. There's something more? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. And the look on her face was, well, this is when he's going to say he went nuts, isn't it? No, it was very easy to navigate. I mean, it was frustrating. I mean, dealing with bureaucratic nonsense is never pleasant. Knowing that you've got to spend money you may or may not have, go deeper in debt to get a new dryer, you know, your plumbing. These are day-to-day issues that crop up through the course of real life. And as awesome as Carnivore is, crap still breaks. Life still happens.
Life happens. That's exactly right.
But it's so much easier to deal with. I'm telling you. Somebody's asked me a question here, and I'm going to try to read it. What do you think the correlation between diet and emotions? I think it all has to do with inflammation. I think it all comes from inflammation.
Yes.
I think it comes from, you know, what caused my depression, my mental illness went away when I stopped eating plants, stopped eating sugar, and stopped eating carbs. They went away. That right there says, and not only did that go away, but my joint pain went away. And my eyesight got better.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the state of Florida. When I first moved here, I had to wear glasses. And when I went and took my eye test recently because I had to get my license renewed, I took my glasses and I said, I guess I better put these on. She said, no, sir, I need you to try to read that without your glasses first. And I read it perfectly. Blew our minds.
That's cool.
Meat, drinking water. Do you have any experiences, anything? What you've had a healing thing. Let's share what's improved for you health-wise since you started Carnivore.
Number one, my rosacea, it's not as bad. Today I got really, really hot and I still look like Rudolph, but I used to, you know, be red, all of my nose, all the way across here, plus have these little breakout bumps and these little veins right here. And now all I do is just right there, it gets really red. So I still look like Rudolph, but it's greatly improved. So, hey, that's a good thing. But
it's greatly improved in the time I've known you.
Yes, yes. But the biggest thing the huge thing, which I had no idea. When I was on keto, I thought my digestive, whatever, was functioning great compared to the standard American diet. And so I thought it was great. And then I eliminated plants. Holy cow! I'm talking my digestive, issues are gone. I didn't even know I had those issues, but I thought it was normal. But I have no bloating, no gas, and I know that we've been joking all over Instagram about, farts. So I'll just say that because apparently people really get a kick out of that. I don't know, but it is true. It's like once you go carnivore, it kind of goes away. And so that's really interesting. But I know I don't have any of the bloating. I don't have, constipation. I don't have any of those, tummy issues anymore. And that is like eye-opening. It just goes to show me that fiber is not all that great for your gut. It's not at all. It actually causes inflammation and it irritates your gut lining. And, I have a lot of people well, not a lot. I had a couple of people dig on me for saying something about that on Instagram. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm one of those that, benefited by getting rid of that fiber. And it's been 4 months and I'm not dead yet. So I don't really think I really need that fiber. What you think?
Well, 360 days without fiber for me, and every day is better than the day before. Yeah, fiber's essential.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm dying and I don't know it yet. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's talk a little bit. This is an issue that's come up. There's this, you are too heavy to be a promoter of any low carb kind of lifestyle. You aren't muscular enough to be an advocate for carnivory. You don't have the perfect body, the body required to be talking about X, Y, or Z. We see this a lot in private. We don't see it so much, although some people are silly enough to say stupid stuff like that publicly. Yeah. And some people really take that to heart. Now, you could say that to me all day long, and all I'm going to do is laugh at you because I know better. But this perfect body BS thing just seems ridiculous to me. What do you think, Amber?
I think it is sad, is what it is. To me, it is all comparative. If you weigh 500 pounds and you're now 250, yeah, that may still be too heavy for you, but you know what? You're not 500 anymore. So comparatively, I think you have a heck of a lot of, information to give out to other people so they can achieve that too. And, you just can't just look at somebody and go, oh, well, you're not the ideal body. You don't have the cut muscles, like a carnivore's supposed to have. You don't look, oh, so young. Where's all your hair? Wow, you still got some chunk on you. It's just comparative. You can't just judge by that. I mean, I get where, for instance, are you going to take diet advice from a doctor who is obese, like huge? Are you going to really trust what he says? I get that part of it. Okay. But you got to step back and see where that person has come from. What is their journey? I mean, they may have a wealth of information to show people in that short period of time. And there's one person that I think is amazing, and that is keto carnivore coach. Did I say that right, Chris? He is amazing. Maybe he doesn't have the most perfect body at this moment, but you know what? He has done amazing things, and he is getting the word out there, and he is putting himself out there, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard for me. It's tough being in front, and people are going to judge you, like, okay, yeah, like you should be giving advice. Number one, are you a doctor? Number two, your body isn't perfect. It's hard. So I commend all those people who are getting out there and they're telling their stories. Why would you want to knock on them? There's so much to learn. You know, I just think it's sad personally. I do.
Yeah, I think Chris Donahue that you mentioned is like, you're not going to find a more genuine human
I
being,
agree.
a kinder man, somebody who's living proof that meat heals. I mean, he's like the body. The man weighed over 500 and some odd
Yes.
pounds. He's lost, was it 220 some now? 250? I can't keep track.
Yeah.
He looks incredible. And he's nothing but a ray of sunshine and pure
Yeah.
positivity. And
Exactly.
you know, he's 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 training to run a 5K race. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah. That's
You know,
huge.
talk about guts. Talk about a desire for perseverance. Uh, it's crazy. Okay, somebody's asking a question about this live video will be up for 24 hours on Instagram Live for you all to watch. Later, it will be uploaded to the KetovoreKast YouTube channel. Somebody said they didn't get to hear the answer to the question,
Oh, bummer.
but that's all right. You can hear it here on Instagram for the next 24 hours after we finish, and then later on the KetovoreKast YouTube channel, which will be going live in a couple of weeks, God willing. I've got some uploading to do,
Yes.
and some rendering to do, and all kinds of fun stuff. That kind of dovetails though into another issue that means a lot to you because you've experienced it, and I have to a lesser degree, and that's this issue of body dysmorphia and Fanon Fat.
Yes.
I when I first went back to work, you know, I started Carnivore in July and got well enough, fast enough that I was able to go back and work a regular job, and for the first time in like decades. And I remember looking in the mirror the first time I was there, and I kind of saw myself accurately, completely as a non-obese psycho for the first time. And I didn't know who the hell I was looking at. Who are you, skinny man? You look like you could eat a cheeseburger, dude. What's wrong with you? That was kind of my thought. But I wasn't upset by it. I wasn't just, it was a little unnerving. But I didn't have this, you know, I wasn't suddenly having negative thoughts about myself or questioning where I was or anything like that. But I know for some people that can really be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Amber?
Oh, yeah. I suffered probably a little bit of both. Now, there is a difference. Phantom fat is when after you've lost a lot of weight and you can't really see yourself as that skinny person again. Okay. And I did absolutely suffer from that. I would still see the fat person in the mirror. And my husband would take me clothes shopping because I spent so many years just buying Walmart huge men's shirts to hide myself, right? So he's thrilled that I'm wanting to dress up and stuff. So he enjoys taking me shopping. And it's a whole pretty woman, you know, scenario. It's awesome. And so he would be picking out clothes for me. He's like, I really think this would look good on you. And he would hand me, you know, a small size. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he'd be like, just try it. And I'm like, okay, this will be fun. And it would fit. And I would just stare in the mirror and I'd almost want to cry. I'm like, oh my God, I am small. And it took a long time for that to click. And bless my husband's heart, he just kept on and kept on. He's like, nope, go try it. Nope, go try it. And I would look at something and go, I sure wish I could wear something like that. And he's like, try it. You'll never know. And I'm like, okay. I try it and I'm like, wow, okay, wow. It doesn't look bad. Oh my God, you know, so that's Phantom Fat. Now the other is body dysmorphia. And that is a condition that is a, you know, kind of more of an emotional, mental kind of issue. And that's when you focus on a part of your body, usually a part of your body, and it becomes so obsessive that you can't function. Like, say, an alcoholic, you know, when it gets to the point where they, you know, just drinking so much that, you know, whatever, you focus so much on that point that it messes with your life. And I didn't really have that, but I guess to a lesser degree. And I kind of talked with this with Caitlin a little bit on the podcast yesterday that for me, developing early, breast for me or yuck. I hate them, and I still am not just real fond of them. I've learned to kind of live with them, but back then it was very traumatic for me, and I tried to hide them. I tried to, whatever I could do, and I thought, wearing big shirts, it would, make things better. So I did focus a lot on one area because I was very embarrassed and, humiliated. So that's body dysmorphia. Yeah.
Very good. So glad you don't suffer from any of that anymore.
Nope.
We got another question.
Yes.
Have you ever considered eating 100% raw diet, carnivore diet with no salt? I can say to 1,000% certainty, never, ever, ever. When people ask me, when do I eat raw meat? I say the 12th of never, because I see no need for it. If that works for you, have at it. I am not interested on any level. Amber?
Well, okay. I am kind of on this kick of trying to break out of my comfort zone. And one of the things is trying things that I would never try before. For instance, I've tried liver. I tried it 4 ways, and one of the ways was raw. Yes, I ate raw liver, and it was disgusting. Oh my goodness, disgusting. And then one night I decided that I would eat, I like my steaks pretty rare, but a little bit of searing on the outside. It's not like cold in the inside. I want it just warm. Anyway, I decided I'm just going to eat a chunk of, raw meat. What the heck? So I ate a chunk of raw meat, and it wasn't awful, but why? It wasn't, it was not comfortable. It was just kind of meh. So no. No, that would be for me. Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, I just see no need. And now somebody's asking, do you eat organ meats, Brett? If so, which one? I only eat the meat I crave and can afford. I have not yet craved liver. I have had some small pieces of chicken liver wrapped with bacon a couple of times. Full disclosure. I thought it was disgusting, even wrapped in bacon. I felt no better. I didn't see any improvement. I still feel amazing without it. I'm sure if my body ever requires me to eat liver, it's going to let me know, and then I'll eat some. But I have no interest in eating any raw meat on any level, and any other kind of meat is fine to eat. If that's what you crave and can afford, have at it. But I'm not interested.
Now, organ meats for me, I actually right now have some liver. I made liver and onions for the rest of my family because they actually like it last night. And so I took some of it and I froze it. And I'm going to grate it, and I'm going to put it into ground hamburger meat at a 30-70 ratio. Because when I did my taste test, yes, there's a video if you want to check it out. It's pretty funny. I could deal with the 30-70. Anything past that, oh no, ain't happening. But I'm just going to try it just to see if it does make a difference for me, because I can handle that, and I already had the liver. So I'm going to give it a go and just see what happens. If I don't notice any difference, nix it. I'm done with it. It's not good.
I just have no use for it currently, and no desire to mess with it. Another good question from our chat room. And you guys have been great tonight asking questions.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that so much. That's why we do this, because we want to help folks like you who are curious, new people especially, who just, the carnivore diet, that looks cool, but how do I do it? And we want folks to get good information. Somebody wants to know, do you guys use salt? I cook with salt.
Okay.
I salt to taste. But my salt, and I only use sea salt, and my salt intake is maybe 1% of what it was when I was on the standard American diet. It's almost nothing. I mean, when you cut out all the salty potato chips and all the salt that was in the mashed potatoes, and and the salt that you put on everything, because that's what this carbaholic did when he was eating garbage. I salt my meat to taste, and that's it. And every once in a while, just because we're supposed to have so many tablespoons of salt during the day, I might sprinkle a touch on my hand and lick it off of it, just because I know if I don't, I'm going to have cramps in my lower extremities at night, and I don't want that. Amber, your
Yes.
thoughts on salt?
Okay. I'm a little bit different. I do use spices, but I use what I was, or I still use it, is the paleo powder pink. And it doesn't have the maltodextrin. It doesn't have any other crap in it. And so I will use that. And I also use the pink Himalayan sea salt. But I just recently, after coming back from the KetoCon and speaking with some people at the Real Salt vendor, whatever, it kind of made me curious. And so I ordered some. And I also ordered their spice version, the seasonal kind of thing. And I tried it last night on my burger, and it was really good. So I do salt, but I don't like do the whole put it under my tongue or add it to my water. I don't really, so far, I don't feel like I need to do that. Maybe, if I felt like I needed to, I would more. But I mean, I do use spice and I do salt my food, yes. But I eat a lot of bacon too, and bacon's really salty. So, you don't really need all that. So I don't know.
We got another great question. Did you start cold turkey? Just stopped eating a sad diet, moved to meat and water, or was there a transitional period? Okay, I'll go first on this one. I started eating low carb, high fat, my version of the Atkins diet in 2015, February 2015. And I was on that for 3.5 years, and I walked off 94 pounds of blubber. Then July 16th, 2018, I started Carnivore. And since then, I lost 22 more pounds. And I'm the happy, crazy man you see today. I had a very easy transition adaptation because I was already low carb and had been for quite a while. So it was very easy. But there was still the first couple of weeks, I was a little uncomfortable. I had some gassiness. I had loose stool for like 5 months, but I wasn't depressed anymore, so I didn't care. Loose stool versus depression. That's a no-brainer for me. Loose stool's a cakewalk compared to being depressed, and so it was fine with me. I didn't have a hard time at all. Amber, darling, your situation was very different.
Yeah, I kind of started low carb, cutting out the mess that is bad. It's bad. And then I moved more into keto, and then I continually got more and more strict with keto and cut out things because I just didn't care anymore. And then I kind of progressed into carnivore and had no issues until I was like, I don't know, a month in when I kind of talked about the low energy just a little bit. But other than that, I really didn't, because mine was very gradual. I mean, I just took it a step at a time. I'm not a cold turkey person. I don't like that. It kind of ticks me off, and I would be grumpy and hard to live with, and it just wouldn't be good. So the gradual approach for me is the way to go. Now, other people can do that. And if they can, hey, go for it, whatever. But I think you may be in for a little bit of hurt.
Somebody, again, is Clover with another great question. Do you avoid small amounts of added sugars like in bacon and smoked salmon? Okay, here's how I deal with bacon. If it's got too much sugar in it, when you fry it, it'll get brown or black around the edges of it before it gets brown and caramelized where you want it. We give that becomes dog food, and we don't buy that brand anymore. Since we followed that, bacon is just glorious. I don't worry about sugars in it at all because the brands that we buy, we know don't have any of that nonsense in it. I don't eat smoked salmon. If I ever crave it, I'll get back to you on that. But outside of that, I don't worry about consuming because I just don't. I don't even eat eggs. Eggs have small amounts of natural sugar in it. They're not satisfying to me. I have no need for them. What about you, Amber?
Okay, well, I'm an OCD kind of person, and when I don't do anything half, it's like I do it all, right? So when I look at ingredients and there's something negative in there, no, gone. It ain't happening. My husband's like, really? It couldn't have that much. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm not eating it because I know it. And he's like, what do you think you get at the restaurant? They probably have added sugar. Well, I don't want to have to think about that, but I don't have the label that tells me it has a sugar in it. That's going to make me crazy. So no, I do not buy bacon that that's been, has any sugar, even though it might be a trace of it. No, I buy Peterson's that has no sugar added and it has none of the other bad stuff in it. So that's me. I don't know. It's just the OCD
Okay.
thing.
Somebody wants to know what electrolytes do I take? Supplements. I only use magnesium lotion on my lower calf and shin and feet and ankle areas in the evenings to prevent cramps. And I will take magnesium drops from time to time. That's all I use. No other supplements whatsoever. Amber, what about you?
Oh, goodness. I used to take a ton of supplements because you read, oh, well, it would be good to have this, good to have this. And I had this big old thing that had, the flip top in and probably 10 different pills. And after I started on carnivore for a while, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to do this elimination thing. So I need to just eliminate it all and just see if I really need that. So I got rid of everything except for magnesium. And I kept taking that. And of course, I get the sodium from salt, but, I'm not like trying to take extra. But here recently, I don't know, probably about a month ago or so, I stopped taking magnesium too. I'm just curious to see if I feel I need it. And so far, I think I'm good. So, no, I don't at this time.
Another question. Do you cook fat and eat it straight alongside your meat to hit a ketogenic high fat macros? I don't run macros. For me, macros are bullshit. I got no use for macros in my life on any level. Macros are why I never looked into keto, because when I tried to read about it in my sick state that I was in then, it was just too much nonsense for this sick kid to handle. And I was taught, eat the meat you crave and can afford. Trust your body. That's what I do. That's all I do. I don't fool around with this measuring crap. I don't mess around with twiddling or adjusting. I follow the directions and I reap the rewards. Amber, darling, what about you?
I don't do macros anymore. I come from a keto background. And so for me, I didn't have a problem with that. And once I got further into it, it was kind of natural. So I stopped probably, I don't know, a year in, I stopped worrying about the macros because I pretty much ate the same thing. So it's not a big deal. And as I moved into carnivore, there's no need to do that. So I don't. Now, it's funny that you brought that up because I made some mention, I don't know what it was, I posted on Twitter, something about, I think I tried a ribeye or something like that, and I could not do the fat. It was disgusting. I like my fillets. I'm sorry, I do. And it's like the carnivore community is like, what? You don't like fat? Oh my goodness. Okay, well here, this is how you do it. And I was getting all this advice of how to, eat the fat. And I'm like, I don't want it. It's like, I don't think I need it. I think I'm getting enough fat. Most of the time I eat that 80-20 hamburger cooked in bacon fat plus bacon. I think I'm good on fat, but no, I don't. I may try because I'm into this, trying new things just to see. And I may cut off fat off something and try cooking it separately and like crisping it, kind of like bacon. People have said you can do that. I don't really know. I've never done it. I don't know anybody who has done it, but I may try that just to kind of see. But currently, no, I do not. Mm-mm. I'm not a fat
Okay,
fan. I'm sorry.
the next question is, where did you first learn about carnivory? Amber, where did you first learn about carnivory?
Well, through the keto, you kind of hear a little bit here and there, but the more I was on social media, the more I was connecting with people, and I connected with this person named Brett, Thankful Carnivore or something like that. And he just kept hammering home this carnivore. You should try carnivore. You'd be surprised about carnivore. And so I was like, well, I'm kind of into this expanding my horizon and experimenting and seeing what's best for my body. What the heck? So I decided to give it a go, thinking that I would just do it for 30 days. Yeah, it's 4 months later. I'm still doing it. So far, so good.
You're not regretting it either, are you?
No, I'm not having any issues, so it's all
That's
good.
wonderful. That's great. Okay, here's another. Somebody else is asking the raw meat. We don't do raw meat. We're not interested in trying it. We're not remotely interested in trying it.
I did try it. I tried it.
Well, she has tried it. I'm not
I have tried
interested in trying it. Why would I be?
It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant.
What can
It's
I
just
gain
not.
from it? There's nothing I see that I can gain from eating raw meat. I can see taking unnecessary risks by eating raw meat, but I see no need to do that. My health's too precious to me now that I have it. We got about 8 minutes left. One issue I wanted to get into, and we appreciate your questions. We're so glad that so many of you have hung around. People have been coming in and out. I appreciate that so much. What does healthiness look like to you now versus how it looked to you prior to the carnivore way of eating? Has anything changed for you in that way?
Well, if I understand correctly, I mentioned before, when I was keto, I had improved so much from the standard American diet, digestive wise, that being on carnivore made me go, wow, I thought I was good on keto. I didn't really understand what you really should feel like, because we were so used to, eating all that fiber, eating all those veggies is good for you, fiber, fiber, fiber. And you think you're doing a good thing for your body, and that's what you think is healthy, eating your greens, and watching, don't eat too much red meat, and don't you dare eat fat, no, no, no. You have seed oils and all that. And so that's kind of how I functioned until keto, and then I cleaned up my act a lot. And then with carnivore, you clean it up even more. And so now I look back and I realize how bad some of that stuff was that I used to think was so healthy. And yeah, it's a big difference. And what you're taught is maybe not the right way to go, because it sure didn't work well for me when I look back now. Is that that's what you're asking?
Yeah, that was a very good answer. For me, I was sick for so long. All I wanted was to not be depressed anymore. I mean, I suffered from depression for over 40 years, and anxiety and insomnia. I just didn't want to feel like death anymore. I didn't want to wonder. I didn't want to have to go through a day where just sometimes wondering if you're going to get through the next 5 minutes. It seems like the whole day. I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I'm free of it. I'm free of every bit of it. So for me, healthiness looks like meat and water.
That's
without
huge.
fail. We got just 6 minutes left. We got some other questions. Somebody wants to know, what benefits does cannabis give you these days, Brett? I use cannabis for behavioral reasons, because without cannabis, I'm the happiest, most obnoxious, hypercritical jerk you would never want to be within 100 miles of. That's what cannabis does for me. Another question, have you had blood tests, especially for uric acid? No, I do. Oh, apparently all the protein is bad for the kidneys. Yes, it's a myth. It's nonsense. Don't believe that FUD. That's designed to sow fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and to keep people opening their wallets and buying medicines they don't need.
Yes, I agree totally. Yes. I have not had a blood test either, and I don't really care. I feel great, and if I have a reason to, I will. Otherwise, I don't care. I'm not going to fool with that. And the protein thing, nah. I've done a ton of research because I had that same worry, and I cannot find anything definitive. So
There's no science to justify any of that nonsense. Someone said, Brett, your wife must be a saint. Yes, well, my wife
she
has definitely
is.
earned her place in heaven because she put up with me when I was crazy, and she stayed with me. And you have no idea. People who suffer from mental illness, it doesn't just affect them. The family suffers right along with them. Somebody saying, so cannabis is not needed anymore for anxiety and depression. No, I do. Why would I need it? My symptoms are gone. You don't use it for symptoms you don't have, at least in my mind. I use it because it allows me to be Mr. Congenial, because I was sick for so long and learned so many inappropriate behaviors and ways of dealing with life. Well, you just don't get rid of that. You don't come out of a 40-plus year depression with a toolbox full of happy skills. And at my age, at 58, learning those happy skills is not the walk in the park that some might think it is. So, yeah, cannabis is a blessing. Okay. Wait a minute. Somebody, what's that say? Got to test, Carnivore. Okay. We got 3 minutes left. I want to thank everybody who's hung out with us. For Clover, some great questions. Some other people asked some great questions too. We really appreciate everyone taking time out of their day to come in and
Yes,
hang
thank
out with
you.
us. We're going to be doing these a little more regularly. We're still trying to iron out some kinks and get scheduling because we have lives, we have families, spouses, and you know, you don't just say, oh, I'm going to do an Instagram live. You want to join me just because it's fun? It's because it's 5 minutes till 7? You want to do one? No, it doesn't work like that. And but we thank you all for coming out and hanging with us. Amber, you got any closing thoughts?
I'm reading this one thing.
Oh, have you ever had anything with sugar or cheated? Why would I cheat? Cheating implies gaining an advantage. There is no advantage to me consuming fruit. Fruit is garbage. Fruit is, as Dr. Paul Saladino said recently, food is plant porn.
I haven't had
All
any
fruit
fruit in forever.
is a small box of sugar with inflammatory fiber to upset your intestinal and digestive tract. Why would we put non-optimal things into our mouths?
Yeah.
No,
I don't
not
eat fruit
ever.
either and haven't in, gosh, a year and a half at least. Yeah.
And cheating? Are you serious? Why would I put my sanity at risk for a moment's mouth pleasure? That's not a rational act. That's not how rational people who care about themselves and their family behave. That's the act of a selfish, self-centered person, in my opinion. We got 1 minute left. Thank you, Amber. It's been awesome.
Yes.
I've had a
Thanks,
blast.
guys.
Appreciate you all. Like I said, this will be up for 24 hours, and you'll see it again soon, one day on YouTube. Have a great evening.
Bye, y'all.
Drink your water. Be thankful.
Bye.